Hello and welcome to what I hope you will find is a very insightful video to learn about a new product that I have just recently encountered. Today I'm here to learn about Catenae Innovation, a software product that through the use of blockchain and other such wizardry, I'm hoping to learn how it can perhaps revolutionize our event operations with a particular focus on health and safety. But that's not all. So to explain what it's all about and to take me through, I suppose, a journey, I'm joined by Nick Delacamp, who is going to take me through. Nick, how are you?
I'm really well, thanks, Martin. How are you?
Good stuff. Now, I thought maybe for the benefit of our viewers, you could give us a bit of a top-line overview, really, into what Catenae Innovation is all about.
Sure. So we're a digital transformation company. We try and take paper and spreadsheets out of the hands of people that are trying to organise events, trying to deliver everything that forms part of an event of some sort. And we try and bring trust and certainty in everything that people do. We use some clever technology called blockchain that enables you to capture information and prove that it's never been tampered with. And what I've got for you today is some demonstrations of some of the aspects of that.
Good stuff. Right. Well, without any further ado, then let's crack on. Take me through.
Okay, let me share my screen. And so the first scenario I'll take you through is perhaps somebody is organising an event at the NEC. It might be for the security industry. They've gone through the process of their risk assessment. They've got a list as long as your arm of things they need to do. They need to track all of that. They need to make sure that all the right people know what they've got to do, when they need to do it, where they've got to be. So I'm going to show you here, we've got a very simple dashboard of this particular event, and I will schedule a task for somebody to go do something. So I'm going to add a shift. It's a single shift. I'll give it a quick name, and we'll do that today. Ask somebody to do it today. It'll be a short shift, so we'll finish today. Set the timings, and it's at that security event, which is at the NEC. It's in Hall 1. And the system here has automatically looked to see who's best placed to conduct that particular task that I want them to do. I can override if I want, but I'm going to accept this in this case. I want them to do a lighting rig inspection today. Now, if that inspection flags up something that's not what I'm expecting, then I want an automatic alert to go to a number of different people. I've predefined that group. So I'm going to add a task here, a lighting rig inspection. It brings up the assets, or in this case, the lighting rigs that exist in that hall. I want them to inspect that particular rig. I'll report to Fred, or ask them to report to Fred on arrival. And it'll be a task that can be done anytime during their shift. And finally, if they don't turn up for the shift, I want alerting within 15 minutes so that I can make sure somebody else picks that up. So I'll add that shift, and that's as simple as that.
So who would be managing that then?
So whoever's in charge of the operation that you're focused on. So if you're an overall organizer, you'll have an operations team, and they'll all have responsibilities for getting everything ready to open. They'll be setting all these tasks. They'll have conducted perhaps the risk assessment, but equally this might be a contractor who's part of the event, and so whoever's in charge of the operations for that particular contractor might be using this.
Great.
So if I switch to my mobile app, this is an app that we provide to the person that you've allocated the task to. So they log on to the app like you do most apps these days. And we can see here that there's a shift waiting for me to accept. I can see a little bit of information about that shift. I can drill into see some more details, what time I've got to be there, that sort of thing. And I'm going to accept that shift, and that reports back to the system that, yeah, I've accepted that task. So he might have done that a few days in advance. Imagine now he's come back to the app, he's about to start his shift. So I hit start shift. I can see some more information about what I've got to do. I've got to report to Fred when I get there, and then I'm going to start my task. I know I've got to do a lighting rig inspection. I'm going to add that inspection. I know that it's a standard inspection I'm doing of a lighting rig. So I'm led through the whole process by the app. Now, in this case, we've labeled the lighting rig with QR code. I can use the app to scan that QR code. I've got a dummy one on my desk here. So that tells me that I'm at the right place, I've got the right rig, and it opens up the questions that I've got to answer in conducting my inspection. So has the lights got chains on them? Yeah, I'm going to say that's fine. What current protection is there on that particular rig? 20 amps. And is the signage correctly displayed? I'm going to say no, it's not. I'm going to say that in this case, the signage is missing. It gives me the option to take a photograph. So I will show us on this call. I've taken that photograph, I'll use that photo, and that's it. I've completed that inspection, and I'm going to save the inspection. All that information is written back to this blockchain system, so it can't be changed.
So that's what I was going to ask you, Nick. I'm not fully sure what blockchain actually is. Is it sort of immutable data that once it's written, it can't be changed, or have I got that wrong?
No, you're spot on. It's like a database that you can only write to. You can change things, but you will always have a record of what was originally there and then what's been changed and who changed it and when they changed it.
Okay, so that's obviously for example, if something went wrong and someone was, found themselves in court, they would actually be able to draw on the data that show, well, so-and-so was in charge of inspecting that rig. Here it is. Here is evidence that the attendant checked it out and it was all okay. That cannot be changed. So that would be accepted by the courts, wouldn't it?
That's exactly right. And blockchain has stood up in court as evidence of something being recorded and not being tampered with.
Fascinating.
So I'm just going to go back to my app here. It's timed out, and I've finished my task. I'm going to end that task. I've also got no other tasks, so I'll end my shift and I'll log out of that app. So we conducted that inspection. I'm going to look at the reports and an inspection dashboard. And if I scroll down to the bottom here, click on this latest inspection, and there's the record of the inspection that just took place. And as well as all the information that the crew member entered into the app, you'll also see here we've captured the position from the mobile phone. We also capture the date and time so that we can evidence that that person was at that place inspecting that lighting rig at the time and date that they said they were. And that's something that will stand up in court as evidence.
That's really useful. That therefore, everyone is fully aware of what was going on, and that will all in all improve safety as well, won't it? It's not just a case of avoiding, a slap on the wrist from the courts. It will actually improve the safety of the event.
That's right, and it protects everybody. The organisers have a responsible for that health and safety, but also the individual can evidence that he's done what he said he's supposed to do.
Great. Okay, so what next?
So the other bit that I'll show you is using some similar capabilities, but relating to COVID. So COVID's really hot topic at the moment. We're still not really sure what the government are going to mandate. And different events will have different approaches to assuring the safety of their visitors and the workers within the event. So whatever the government mandate, it may be that some organisers decide they're going to test people anyway to provide confidence to people and maximise the number of people coming. So we've been doing this in the commercial environment for the last year, protecting businesses from COVID entering their workforces and disrupting operations. It's all about capturing information with integrity. So imagine somebody comes in, has one of these lateral flow tests. If it's a trusted person conducting that test, we help them capture the information and then share it later where it needs to be shared. So imagine somebody's come in, they've come for their test, the tester logs onto our platform, and they will look up in our system the person that's come to be tested. If you know who's coming, you can pre-populate this data, otherwise you can fill it in on the day. Here we've got somebody who have already got their name and address. They have the test, and then that trusted person enters the test result. I'll just quickly show you how you might do that. I'll record a series of negative results and submit that into the platform. So there, that test result is now captured. We provide a dashboard that enables people to see what's going on across a whole organization. If I switch to a live dashboard here, this is a dynamic dashboard. So in this case, the dashboard is showing COVID information. If we think back to the proof of work demonstration I showed earlier, we could equally use this type of capability to show what progress you're making towards being ready to open, that sort of thing. The real power of it is in the way it dynamically shows information. So here we've got a number of simple counts, how many tests have been conducted. We're representing it as a pie chart. On the right here, it's showing what's happened over time. But if I scroll down a bit, we've got a heat map, so we can easily see where we've got the biggest problems. And we've got a geographic representation of where problems exist. If I was,
is there any delay in how the data appears on the heat map and in the dashboard, or is it almost real time?
It is almost real time. In this example with COVID tests, a COVID test that recorded on that system I showed you would appear on the heat map within about 2 seconds.
Wow.
So it's essentially live data. So if I was perhaps, as the CEO of an organization interested in all of the events I'm running across Europe, then I can have a view here. But if I'm just in charge of the UK, I might want to drill in and just look at the UK data. So I'll filter here on the UK, and you'll see the map redraws itself just for the UK, but so does the rest of the dashboard. So I can focus in on the information that's really important to me. Any item of data on the dashboard I can use to filter, and I can also use it to trigger automatic messaging, trigger events elsewhere.
So tell me about the digital wallet then, Nick.
So the wallet is an app that people can download onto their smartphone. I'll show you here that they receive a username and password, they log in, and the idea is this is their ticket to get in and demonstrate their COVID status. So here I'll show somebody wanting to check in. The app that I'm showing you can either be for an individual or for somebody that's conducting the gatekeeper role. Here I'll show you, I don't want to be the gatekeeper, I'm just somebody that's come to an event. I can see in my wallet that I've got 2 certificates. I've got a vaccine certificate and a test certificate. I'm going to show the status from my last test. And it puts on the screen of my phone this QR code, picture of me, so that whoever I'm sharing it with knows that I haven't stolen somebody's mobile phone.
And is this the only data that's here? There's no other data that private to you that we might be sharing as well?
No, that's absolutely right. This is the only thing you're sharing with the individual, and the user is in control. If they want to be forgotten, they delete the app and then everything's forgotten about them, but you're not sharing any other information. And as I step through this, you'll see that the person that's reading this data only gets a yes or no answer. So this is on the face of my mobile phone. I'll now switch to another app. It's the same app on somebody else's phone, and I'll sign in as a gatekeeper. So I say, yes, I want to be a gatekeeper this time. I'm going to scan the person that's trying to come in. So I will scan that phone. You just saw the QR code, and the gatekeeper simply receives a binary response. So here, what's happening in the background, the system's saying, has that person had a test in the last 3 days? If that's your policy, 3 days. And was it a negative test? And if it was, they get a green smiley saying, yep, let them in. Perhaps their test is more than 3 days old. In that case, they'll get a red emoji and know not to let them in. But that's all they get to see. So they don't get to capture even your name. It respects the individual's privacy.
Fantastic. And I think that's the important thing to remember, isn't it? We don't know what the government will insist upon yet, if anything, but then individual organisers may decide that they do indeed want some manner of COVID status certification.
That's right. I don't know how it's going to pan out. It seems to me that there's a need initially to boost the confidence of everyone coming to events. And I certainly would be a lot more confident if I knew everyone around me had been tested in the last 3 days.
Sign of the times. Nick, that was fascinating. Thank you so much. And anyone who wants to learn more about Katanai Innovation can do so by clicking the web link in the description box of this video. Nick, thank you very much.
Thanks, Martin.